After winning Miss USA, Allie Landry was featured in the Doritos commercial, which still to this day is the most memorable Super Bowl commercial of all time. This commercial launched her into a successful career as an actress, model, television host, and brand ambassador, even being touted as one of People magazine's most beautiful. And with great business success, Allie has experienced health issues. But then she decided to take that back and do something about it. Well, this journey was the inspiration for the launch of her ReShape lifestyle platform focused on overall health and wellness and beauty and fitness. Well, Allie is committed to researching and curating the very best resources, products, and services, along with sharing her personal network with the most trusted specialists with women around the world. So let's welcome one of the most recognized faces on television and the pages of numerous magazines, the multi-talented and ageless Allie Landry. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I love the last compliment the best, the ageless one. Thank
It
you.
it fits. I mean, literally, I don't
Dr.
think you've
Fine.
aged a day since you, well, became famous, so to speak. But I am so interested in your journey. So, what inspired you to create Reshape?
The story, it's great because I was on a daily talk show. It's called Hollywood Today Live, and as it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like live. Um, I was there at 5 in the morning, I remember, and we would finish at 10. Um, as soon as it was, they were like, okay, let's start shooting. I was experiencing a lot of different things. I feel like I was thinking one thing in my mind and I would go to say it and then it was coming out a different way. And I was like, what is going on? This is really bad. I could possibly lose this job. Also, which for me seemed like a great schedule. Again, in at 5, out at 10. I thought I could work out. I thought I could go grocery shopping, cook dinner, take the kids to the after school activities, have a glass of wine with my husband, just have this like amazing life, right? The work life balance. Well, the reality is I would get home from work and I would immediately put my pajamas on. I would climb into bed. I was not only emotionally drained, but I was physically like, I'm drained. I felt like I was in a boxing match with Muhammad Ali. Like it was, I didn't even understand like how, but it was more of like that brain exhaustion. So I would climb into bed and I would wake up after the kids got back home from school. My husband was then cooking dinner. And then I started slipping into like a little bit of depression because I was like, this is supposed to be my dream job. And I'm feeling like I'm living half a life. I'm young. I'm in my 40s. Like I shouldn't be feeling this way. There's got to be something going on. But I wasn't like sick enough to go to the doctor, right? Like a traditional doctor. So I decided to take the naturopathic, route and I got my first blood panel done. And I actually got to see what was going on in my body and have someone look at me, and understand my lifestyle and then seeing that blood work, just looking at my whole self. And I've never had that conversation before. And so many little light bulbs, were going off because she's like, we could actually fix this. And I just thought, like so many of my friends are feeling the same way. And they were telling me after I was sharing with them what I was going through, it wasn't just, that little bit of depression. It was digestion issues. I was losing my hair, my sleep was off. There was so many other issues happening. And they would say, yeah, well, that's what happens when we age or we're getting older. And I just thought, nah, that doesn't sit well with me. Like, I've got to figure this out. There's something that I can do. And that's when really, once I got to the other side of that health issue, sorry, my dog wants to go out. Once I got to the other side of that health issue, I've always been a sharer by nature. And I just thought that I can't hold this information to myself. Like I have to be able to share it with other women because I knew just from my girlfriends that so many others were feeling the same way and they didn't have to. Like you didn't have to settle for less in your life. Like you could reshape it. So I was like, reshape, let's do it. And that's sort of how reshape was born.
Well, we're going to get into reshape, but I want to ask you a question because
Hmm.
you're in the celebrity realm. You're very
Hmm.
well known, and
Hmm.
you yourself have lived through heartache and heartbreak. And
Yes.
many of us who know your story, your
Uh-huh.
ex-husband committed adultery during your marriage and became headlines for the tabloids. How
A
did
lot of
that
tabloids.
experience reshape your life?
Looking back, I mean, in that moment, honestly, it was the most difficult thing I've ever been through, like ever. Uh, and but looking back, because I actually did the internal work, it was my biggest blessing besides my children. It was the biggest gift that I could have ever received because it changed the way moving through that pain, that heartbreak, understanding, forgiving someone who, there was what I don't even think was even interested in being forgiven. Uh, it was I learned so much about myself. I felt like I was making a decision in my life to take the blinders off, that I was going to own my choices. And I looked at it honestly. I flipped the switch on everything that had happened. And I just looked at it instead of saying, poor me, and, go. I did do that for about a month. But after that, it's like, let's put our big girl pants on and let's do this, because this is actually an opportunity, again, to reshape and create the life or the relationship that I actually so deserve, right? And
Oh yeah.
because I did that internal work, every day I was writing in a journal, I was praying, it was a beautiful time. I think it was the one time in my life, honestly, where I heard God's voice like crystal clear, like clear as a bell. I felt like he was carrying that cross like on when I didn't even know. I was like, dear God, please just put one foot in front of the other for me, because I didn't trust myself at that point. Like, I chose that person. So what in me, what allowed me to choose that? Like, there was something going on. There was a lot of work for me to do, but he had my back and got me to the other side. And I actually, I missed that time because I was so close to him. And I mean, he brought me through in the most incredible. I mean, I feel like that was a miracle the way I came through that
Well,
situation.
it definitely is a miracle, and I can attest how great the Lord works in each of us. And for those of us who have had relationships, or maybe some of us who we are married, the Lord can show us things that what we can do to make it better. And but that experience for you, what did it do to your self-worth? And then how have you channeled your self-worth to help other women?
Well, I will say that during that time, I think it was the journaling after I felt like before I was young, came to Los Angeles in 96 after I won Miss USA. I was thrown into the entertainment business. I was busy, 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 busy with lots of opportunities and work and jobs. And I was just sort of going, right? Okay, you want me here? Okay, we're doing this. And I even with him, it's like I don't think there was a lot of thought process around that. Like, he was cute, he was nice, he was, fun, very charming. And here I was in a relationship after 6 years. And then what do you do? Do you get married? I just, I want to own that. I want to own those things. I just was a little oblivious in my life at that time. And after that happened, I just realized if I really want, maybe the marriage that my parents have, or, want that family, if I want to be happy, I have to own my choices, I have to know my self-worth. But in order for me to do that, I have to be clear on what I want in my life, because if I'm not and other things come in, I'm not going to know that that's the wrong thing. It's like it's going to happen what happened before. They're going to come in and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's go down this path." That relationship and how I work through it, it not only changed my perspective in moving forward to find another relationship, or change me as a woman as I walk through this world, but it also changed my work. Like, at that point, I decided to make choices in how I was portrayed in media. I mean, before I was definitely like a sex symbol and swimsuit covers and all that. And I was just like, that's not even who I am. Like, I'm the one who gets out of pool and immediately is like wrapping up. Like, why did I allow that? And that goes back a little bit to the self-worth and being authentically me and not letting people tell me what I should be doing and just sort of owning it all. So it was empowering in every single way.
Well, that's what I love about your ReShape platform, because now you're directing women to
Mhm.
have self-esteem, to have self-worth, to have confidence, to have courage. And your
Yeah.
platform is so wonderful, Allie, because you cover so many different areas, and it's such a positive experience for women that connect to you at reshapelive.com. So let's start off with a few things to kind of get people excited about joining your community. So, you know, let's talk about keeping track of your routine, your eating habits,
Mhm.
meditation or prayer, even
Mhm.
regulated rest. Where and how do we start?
I always like to start or kind of introduce ideas on reshape, like from the very beginning, right? All of this was new to me. I'm from the South, like from Louisiana, I ate rice and gravy. There was not a vegetable that wasn't smothered and buttered. And to this day, I can eat any man under a table. I will say that. And I don't trust a woman who doesn't eat. So I did not come from this world. I was a hippy dippy parents, or, like, these are homegrown people. My dad was a farmer. My mom was a beauty. She had a beauty salon on the side of my house, small town, one stoplight. So all of this, honestly, I did the work to get to the place that I am. So I always like to start women at the very beginning. And also, I don't like women to have guilt about things, because the first thing I feel like, whatever practice you want to put into place, right? I always feel like the first thing is awareness. Sometimes it takes me years to really get something to stick, right? I'm still eating baked Cheetos almost every single night before I go to bed. I mean, what is going on with that? But I give myself grace around that. Um, but when I do make up my mind to change a specific thing in my life, I really like to dig deep. So for me, one of the things was my sleep. So with my sleep, and I feel like I am the guinea pig, I think, for every for the audience. I try everything myself. So with my sleep, I was getting sick all the time. Um, didn't know why. And I felt like I was waking up a lot. I felt always tired, and then my immune system would go down and I would eventually, get sick. And then I discovered I track everything now. So I have an Aura ring. It's the number one sleep tracker on the market. I don't have it on because I did a treatment on my hair. It's in the bathroom. But that is a wonderful gauge for me, because it tells me the amount of deep sleep I have, the amount of REM sleep I have. It does my resting heart rate. It just measures all the different things. And then it tells me what my recovery rate is, how much I should maybe push myself the next day. So if I see that I did not have a good night's sleep, it will tell me, you know what, take it easy tomorrow. So I won't go push myself like in a really hard workout. That has been a really great thing for me. I know a lot of women suffer from hot flashes. I am like, boiling hot in the middle of the night. And I use a product called the Chili Pad. I discovered it when I was pregnant with my third child, and I was just randomly online. I felt like when I just discovered it. I think it was delivered to me, honestly. I found this, it was like the heavens opened up and the angels were singing, like, oh, like that moment, right? So it's a pad that goes on my bed, and I could set the temperature where I want it. I don't make any money off of this. I just this is like one of my favorite products. That was, again, a game changer in my life. So in Reshape, I sort of talk about issues that I have, that I know so many other women are having, and then we sort of go down the rabbit hole of that. And then I also offer up products that for me have been life changing, right? So, and we just sort of talk about it from a lot of different angles. And I know everybody else is on their specific journey, and we always like to meet you, where you are. I mean, we talk about gratitude a lot. I now
Well, let me ask you
meditate
this, Allie.
daily.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me ask you this because you were talking about having difficulty sleeping,
Hmm.
waking up. Now,
Hmm.
did you have a thyroid and an adrenal panel done to find
Hmm.
out what was going on in that area?
Yeah. Totally depleted. Totally depleted. But there was a bigger issue. That was one thing. But the other issue was pain. So I have had chronic pain, I think, since my 20s, stemming from a car accident. I was driving to San Diego to do a television show, and I got in an accident on the 405. And that has just, I've been chasing that pain for all these years. So it was the pain really that would wake me up in the middle of the night. So I'm rubbing creams, I'm sleeping on like balls to put like pressure on those areas. I'm like taking Advil at night. I was taking sleeping pills at one point, just really trying everything. So once I tackled the pain and started working with a team, and it took a lot, right? I mean, years to really find the people that knew how to work with my body using the different modalities, and figuring out that line of pain. That again made a big difference. And now I do get sleep. Not all the time. Sometimes that pain is activated, but I am now able to get a good night's sleep.
Wow. Now, you also talk about on your platform, don't deprive yourself. So, are
Yeah.
you saying that cheat days are okay?
I say daily cheats are okay. I actually have a call after this with my nutritionist. Like I mentioned before, I love food. I'm a lover of food, and I love the experience around food. That was part of like how I was raised. There's family, and there's always a pot of gumbo on the stove. So I love that, and I refuse to deprive myself. So I had to find somebody who had the same mentality as me, and also where I had little like loopholes where I could kind of, manipulate the system a little bit. And I work with a nutritionist named Sarah Raggy. I'm actually doing an Instagram live after we're done with her, and I offer her program or parts of her program on the site. And for me, I've tried a lot of different things. Being in this business of health and wellness, you're also exposed to every new thing that's coming out. And I was trying them all because I think they're interesting and exciting. Like most women, you're going on a new diet plan. You probably have tried everything that's out there. But I was getting really confused. I would wake up in the morning and I was like, wait, what am I doing today? Am I like no carb? Am I just having soup for dinner? Am I doing intermittent fasting? Like, what am I doing? So I thought, you know what? This is not my superpower, like nutrition. So I need to bring on somebody or consult with someone who actually knows about this. And that's not me. So I needed support in that area. So that's when I reached out to Sarah, and she just put together a plan for me that was super realistic for me to, continue with in my life. I have chocolate every single day. I cheat when I want to, and I know that the next day it's a new day, right? And that's kind of my message for women. Like, in the morning you wake up and you really want to do the best for yourself, for your friends, for your children, your work. But at the end of the day, something or someone will always fall short. And that's okay. I don't want you to carry guilt about that. I want you to give yourself grace, just knowing that tomorrow is a new day, and we're gonna give it a best we're gonna give it our best again tomorrow.
Yeah,
I just
I
feel like
think
so
one of
many
the
women walk
worst
around.
things, yeah, because I
Yeah,
think one of the worst things that people can do, men or women, is beat themselves up and feel guilty for if they're on a diet and then they
yeah,
fall off the wagon for one
yes,
meal out of the day. Don't beat
yeah.
yourself up. Just start over tomorrow and
Just start
keep
over.
going.
Keep going. Look, my husband does it to me all the time. When I go out to dinner, I am going to enjoy myself. I'm not really going to be super strict, right? Because I want that experience. So if I am going to eat the cake, right? I am making a mental choice. I am eating the cake, and I am going to enjoy that cake. So when we're eating this cake and after this wonderful meal, and he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten the cake." I was like, I don't want to hear that. We just ate the cake. We had a beautiful night. Let's own it. And tomorrow, it's a new day.
That's right. That's right. Now you also
Life's too
talk about
short. Life's too short to get caught up with all that stuff.
that's right. And the way I look at it is that God created chocolate and I'm going to enjoy that blessing.
Thank you. I'm right there with you, by the way.
All right. Well, let me ask you this one, because on your platform, you talk about plant the seeds, grow your own herbs, grow your own flowers. It's just a fun activity. So, how do you encourage people to do some of these things to enhance their life?
I feel like that's just an example for me of really being more connected with nature. I mean, I grew up in the country. I ran around barefoot. There's trees, there are gorgeous oak trees everywhere. And here I came, as an adult, and most of us have a very busy life, right? We have a really busy life. We're running, 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 trying to keep up with the to-do list and everything. And that saying, stop and smell the roses, stop and smell the herbs, stop and grow the herbs. Um, I just feel like it's so healthy for our bodies to be in nature, to connect with the earth. Um, Walk barefoot. Like you just have that feeling of like joy, honestly, like joy in your heart to feel those grass between your toes. I was doing it the other
Yes.
day with the kids. And actually, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a sensation I haven't felt in a long time. And that was really sad to me. Just the idea of planting something or having a plant at your desk and just being able to work with the land and the dirt and growing something. And herbs are super simple. And then you could use them right there in your kitchen. So I always sort of like to use that example, but really, it's just to get out in nature, enjoy the beauty, take that time to really be present and aware. And it just sort of regulates your body, and
Yeah, it does.
recenters you, I think, for your day.
Well, you bring up something that I always encourage people to do. Go outside, take your shoes off, go stand in the grass. You
You
can
got it.
walk barefoot in the grass 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. And there's actually a term for it. It's called grounding. It's getting our
Grounding.
body grounded with the magnetic pull of the earth. And what they have found out, if more people will do this on a regular basis, some people have found out, and this may actually be something for you, that some people who deal with pain issues may find that their pain is improved by as much as 80%.
I mean, let's just think about that number.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go walk outside, lay in the grass, walk in the grass, just take your shoes off, to have pain improved 80%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
That is
amazing.
very
Okay,
crazy.
people, we've got to like take those shoes off. Don't ever go outside without your shoes. Go to the mailbox, get your mail without your shoes. Go hug a tree, go plant some herbs. I don't know, but there's no excuse. We've got to really connect more with
Well,
nature for
yeah,
sure
because
and
even
ground.
if I'm in the office all day, I want to take some time and say, okay, I got to go outside and clear my head. Or maybe it's take the dog outside and just
Yeah.
stand there in the sunshine, get some fresh air, clear your mind, and then go back to work. To me, it's equal to a 10-minute power nap in the afternoon. Let me just walk outside and get some sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you also, Allie, talk about something that I absolutely love on your platform, the miracles of mindset. Why is having a positive mindset so important?
It changes absolutely everything, right? Like we were saying before, I really, you could definitely go down a path of like in that situation where myself, like poor me, I could have been angry, I could have thought of every excuse. But you know what? I decided, I always like to say it's like flipping the switch on your mindset. I think it's harder for some people to do
Mhm.
than others. For me, I know like that's one of my superpowers. Like I've always been able to do that. I've been able to, I always allow myself to kind of wallow in the whatever it is, whether I lose a gig or, whatever's happening. I can like wallow in it for like a day, right? Go down the hole and then after that, no, we're not doing that. And also surrounding yourself with people that can pull you through. If you know that you're not strong enough to do it, like have a good friend. Like my husband also can say, okay, he could talk me off the ledge and then I'm back, switching that mindset immediately. But a girlfriend, like make sure you surround yourself with people, friends, I always say, that feel like sunshine, right? That when you're in their presence and you feel their light on you, it's joyous, right? People who actually see your superpowers, people who are not going to gossip, people who are not going to bring you down. Those are the kind of people you want to surround yourself. And that also makes a huge difference and helps improve your mindset as well, if you're
Yeah,
not strong enough to do it yourself.
yeah, absolutely. Because the thing about the mindset for me, and yes, we need to be positive, but so many people, I think they get caught up into a mental trap. Maybe they keep making the same mistake over and over again, but sometimes, and then when that happens, those people need to kind of step back and say, wait a minute, is my focus, is my understanding, or is my comprehension, is it wrong? Is there something that I need to correct? And I think a lot of
Hmm.
people need to look, sometimes we have to look to the past
Hmm.
to see what our
Hmm.
habits have been over the years, and then
Absolutely.
step back and go, let's look at this differently. And I think
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what age we are, we should always be willing to learn. And it always starts with the mindset. And,
Yeah.
that's the reason why I think your platform, not that I think, I know your platform is so positive that it will help thousands upon thousands of people, especially women who maybe need to change the mindset for the better.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it was something like, your thoughts, the reflection of your thoughts is what your life is going to look like. And that's kind of scary for some people.
Yeah.
So that's why I always catch myself. Another thing that happened for me that helps is daily gratitude. When you're waking up daily, especially when we were, in the pandemic and quarantining and we're at home and it's just home every day after day, or just kind of started the same routine and you kind of slip down into a little, depression or life becomes a little mundane. It's like waking up with gratitude and really trying to find those moments to celebrate that changes everything. It,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
Well, yeah, and we need to find one thing every single day to be thankful for, to be grateful for, so that way we don't end up going into a negative state of mind. Even this morning when I woke up, Allie, I literally, when I come into my office, I'm going to start my day off doing all of my devotions first. And I really had to
Hmm.
sit here this morning and say, okay, Lord, uh, remind me of all of the things that you've confirmed to me so I do not forget those.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we end up with a day where you kind of wake up and you're like, maybe it's depressed, maybe it's frustration or irritability. But when we
Yeah.
find and look at those things that are positive, we concentrate on
Yeah.
those and we keep moving forward. I always tell people, don't lose your momentum. Keep it going. We're going to have
Yeah.
ups and downs, but just don't lose the momentum, because then if you do lose it, you could end up going 3 steps back, and it's hard to make that
Yeah.
up sometimes.
But also it's the inner, and every topic that we've talked about, we've sort of referenced is doing the work, right? It's the interior work, it's the emotional work. When you do that emotional work, it's sort of everything sort of falls into place. Like whether we were talking about earlier, why do you keep making the same mistakes twice, or what. But let's understand that can come from journaling, that quiet time, like after a meditation, like when you're reading and like praying, like, dear Lord, please show me, like it's those moments when great ideas or thoughts or miraculous ideas come to you, are just like realizations. When you spend that time alone, you kind of clear out your mind and you just go in a little bit deeper into your why. I think you could receive a lot of insight. So it's just really getting to know yourself and being okay in silence, and doing that work makes a big difference.
Yeah, and that's right. And I think that wisdom should tell us that we need to kind of check ourselves on a constant basis to make sure we don't get caught up in negative patterns or habits, or if the same thing keeps happening over and over again, we need to step back and go, wait a minute, why does this keep happening to me? Am I the
Hmm.
problem? A lot of people
Yeah.
think other people are the problem, but sometimes we are the problem. But I
Yeah.
want to kind of flip the gear here, because I want to talk about fitness. And
Hmm.
you have been an actress, You've been a model, like you said, you had modeled swimsuits.
Mhm.
Kids have the posters on their walls, but you know, but in this day and age,
Mhm.
there's a lot of body shaming. There's a lot of
Mhm.
young girls and young women who look at Instagram and they're like, I want to be like that. And when they can't achieve that goal, they just fall into this trap. So with your Reshape platform, what do you do to help improve the outlook of these young women looking at pictures that, well, look, a lot of them are photoshopped. We know this. Some people don't
Yeah.
know that, and that's where I think the
Yeah.
problem becomes. But how can young girls and young women really just take hold of who they are and be who
Mhm.
they are and not compare themselves to someone else?
It's so hard, I think, for the younger generation because they are so influenced by social media, and everything you're seeing on social media is filtered. I mean, I'm holding my daughter's 14 and she doesn't have a phone, and she doesn't. And I am really, because I know what can happen to her. She's influenced by her peers a little bit. And I know that that would just be a really bad thing for her mental health. I do know that. I mean, Selena Gomez just came out and said she wasn't on the internet for, I think, 4 years. And it was the best thing she's ever done for her mental health. That just came out this week. But I think I could speak to the women who maybe are a little bit wiser and hopefully they can then influence their daughters. For me, we all know that exercise, moving our body, let's just call it that, moving our body just releases those endorphins. It makes you feel good. Every time I'm starting to feel like a little getting in a funk, my husband's like, when was the last time you worked? Like, have you worked out lately? And it doesn't mean working out. Like for me, I've really just changed my mindset around fitness. And I know that I don't like to do the same thing every day because I get bored. I like to mix it up. So I love to go bike riding with my kids. We live in a great area where we all ride bikes. That's moving my body. I can hike. We have a mountain right here. I go hiking. I'll take the dog for a walk. That counts. I'm moving my body. Sometimes I'm in a lot of pain and I may go to a yoga class that's restore, that's honestly just stretching. Stretching for me at 48 has been the magic sauce to everything. It has, again, a game changer in my life. Before, when I was younger, I just thought that was a waste of time. Like I should be on a treadmill. I should not be like, stretching. Some days I feel like a little more of a push. So I'll go to a class where you're running and you're doing weights. And then other times I just want to chill and take it easy. I have like in front of where I'm sitting at a desk in my bedroom. And in front, there's a tiny space. I just flip my computer around and I do a YouTube video. I have my candle lit. I'm seeing my oak trees outside. And it's just a more relaxed, workout. And I feel really good doing that. It's just that constant movement. It's just moving because that keeps me happy and joyous. I don't go into the funk and my body feels really good. Um, I think it's just keep moving.
Yeah, and that is one thing, Allie, that I always preach. Keep moving. I don't care how old you are.
Exactly.
If you don't move, you're going to end up losing it. And
Yes.
we have to move every single day. Some people, look, if all you can do is walk to the end of your driveway and walk back to the
Yes.
house, at least
Yes.
you're moving. But I
That's
found
right.
something kind of funny that I read, and you mentioned a donut detour. What is that all about?
Well, I've already admitted to you guys that I love food and I will make some, not so healthy choices, but I own them. So at that time, I was doing the Boston Marathon. I was doing it for the Boys and Girls Club for a charity, right? So I didn't have to have a required time to do it. I'm not a runner, but I just thought great thing to check off of, pull out of that bucket list. So when the race started, I was at the front with like the world class athletes from all over the world. That was a little intimidating. And then, the race has started. We're just kind of getting started. I was like, oh my God, because we were there so early. I really have to go to the bathroom. So I was asking around on the side. There were lots of people lined up cheering everybody on. And I was like, is there a restroom around here? And a really nice woman said, I live right down this little lane. You could use my restroom. And I was like, brilliant, great. So I go into her home, I go to the restroom and then I come out and, from the South, people are very friendly and, you can talk to a wall. And I was like, oh my gosh, your kitchen is so cute. And I was like, oh, you do not have Krispy Kreme donuts. I saw it on the top of her refrigerator and she's like, yeah, you want one? So I ended up sitting with her in her kitchen, having a donut and then realizing, oh my gosh, the marathon, like I've got to get back to it. And by the time I got out, I'm not kidding you. I was in the back with like 5 other people. I finished, but it was me and 5 others. And then we were just, going about it, doing our thing, all for the Krispy Kreme donut, which I do not regret, by the way.
Well, at least you worked it off.
Thank you. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I like to exercise daily. So, if you have a little food detour, I just look at it as I'll be working it off the next day anyway. So why feel guilty about it?
It's all good. I mean, one little tip I do just for women, I know everybody's looking for tips and tricks, I do a little bit of intermittent fasting, which helps me. It also helps my digestion. And sometimes whenever I'm really buckling down before I go on a trip, before I go to Louisiana, where I'm from, because they have the best food and I know I'm going to eat and I'm not going to have guilt about it and I'm going to eat everything till I can't eat anymore. I always try to really buckle down before I go. So I'll end the night with like a bone broth soup instead of like doing dinner. But I try to eat a lot of fats and proteins during the day and always a ton of water. And that always makes a big difference.
No, it does, and I've been changing up my routine this past week. I've lost 5 pounds in the last 3 days, but I've cycled 70 miles in the last 5. So
yikes! You're killing it.
But I believe in the intermittent fasting because I try to do mine. I think I go from 7 p.m. to noon. Mm-hmm. So. That's not quite, that's what, about 17 hours, 16. I think. And it works.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have success on that. But for women, you really have to listen to your body. And, during your cycle, you're not going to want to do that. You're going to need those carbs at night to just push through. So again, that's the time when, if that's not something that you were familiar with or you're not sure to do it. I mean, yes, they're great podcasts, but maybe you want to talk to a nutritionist or, to really understand what's the right thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I know, Allie, that the ReShape book won't be out until next year. Mm-hmm. So for all of my viewers as well as my listeners, how can they connect with you and to connect at reshapelive.com?
Well, we have Instagram and Facebook, and it's at ReShape Live. And then my personal is at Allie Landry. We have a website, which is reshapelive.com, where you'll also find, lots of articles and personal stories, but also curated products that I feel are absolute game changers. So that's where you can connect with us for sure. And, this book, I'm so excited. I'm really nervous. I was not really interested in doing a book, really, only if I could truly deliver some important information or information that could help other women. Like if I could be of service to others, then that was the only reason I wanted to do it. And so, it's really just, it's never too late to reshape your life. You are totally worth it. We tap into the heart shape, the soul shape, your mindset, your health set. I tell you personal stories and how I got through it and different things and techniques, modalities that I plugged in that has completely changed everything for me. And I would say, at almost 49, I'm not doing too bad. So I definitely have some really great tips and tricks to share with everyone.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this. Allie Landry is as real can get. And what I mean by that is she's not fake. She tells you like it is. She has life experiences that she can share with you and how she overcame. Because here's the thing. We all have the ability to overcome. Okay? It comes down to us saying, yes, I can. And for some of you, maybe you're dealing with self-esteem issues. But I can tell you this right now, and Allie will back me up on this. God says you're a masterpiece. You're
That's right.
beautiful, no matter what
Yeah.
anybody says. You're beautiful,
Mhm.
you're a masterpiece, and you can do it. If you have a desire of your heart, you can do it. But here's what I want for especially you women out there that are watching and listening. Go to reshapelive.com. Get into Allie Landry's community. Okay? There
Yeah.
is so much to learn, so many specialists to learn from and to better your life. We're talking about your body, your mindset, your
Your
spirituality.
soul set. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And you got going on, Allie, and I want to thank you so much for coming on to the program.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And like you were saying, I mean, one term that, it may make the cover of the book. And what I want all women to know is that you're worth it. I mean, that's when it comes down to it. Like, you are worth it. I see you. We're on this journey together. So let's show up and support each other. Let's share. Let's be authentic. Let's truly connect. So that's really what it's all about at the end of the day, a true connection with another soul out there.
And
Thank you
that's
so
what
much for having me.
oh,
I love talking to you.
Oh, absolutely, Allie. I'm just thankful for the honor and the pleasure to have you on the show and to share your amazing story and just being a great example of what a real person can do. None of these fake influencers. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Allie Landry is as real as can get. And let me tell you something, you can appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, ReShape by Allie Landry. This is a modern lifestyle brand for women. So I encourage everyone who is watching my television show, listening to the radio show and the podcast, I encourage everyone to head over to reshapelive.com, join her community where you will find all that you need to be more complete and a healthier you. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for spending this time with myself as well as the wonderful Allie Landry, and I'll be right back after this.
Thank you.